Mike, Charlie,
What's up?
top tips for teen bodybuilders. Top 3 tips.
Yeah.
With the cap, which you can't see that shot.
Yeah.
Teen bodybuilding is an interesting topic. We both get lots of questions all the time. Both young guys who are desperate to try and make gains. I've made a hell of a lot of mistakes. I'm sure Mike has.
Massively.
I remember going to the gym and going for like 4 hours, doing every machine you have.
Yep.
Working out until I was pretty much going to pass out. And then I remember going to KFC and eating a massive family bucket of KFC so I pretty much passed out as well. Thinking that's how you got big and grew muscles.
You just got fat.
Yeah, I got very fat. Anyone who's seen a lot of my before photos, I wasn't in good shape at all. So that is not how I would go about it. So my first tip for anyone in terms of teen bodybuilders is nutrition is vitally important. So make sure you have some idea of what you're taking in terms of calories. Most importantly, getting enough protein in, and have some sort of structure. Don't know if you'd agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but the main thing that I'd say in regards to nutrition would be don't worry too much about getting lean protein sources, because when you're a young
We're not a friend.
when you're a young, oh my lord, get out of the way.
I'll sit here like Dr. Evil during this discussion.
When you're young anyway, you have massive amounts of testosterone, and the main driver of testosterone into your muscle cell is help me out here. It's cholesterol.
Yes.
Right.
So fats build hormones, basically. So you need fats.
Yeah. Fats
good
build
fats.
hormones, and the main driver of that is going to be the cholesterol that you're going to get through meat sources, direct.
Eggs.
So eggs, steak.
Salmon.
Anything high in cholesterol is going to drive that testosterone into the muscle cell. So don't be too caught up on getting your like chicken, rice and broccoli.
Or don't live on the white fish diet or egg whites. You need decent quality fats, almond butters. Talk about butter, there's an amazing one. Mike's given me a pit butter with chocolate orange, but don't want to eat a whole jar of that. But in terms of nutrition, it's just important getting enough calories in, particularly if you're young, you're going to be looking to grow, so I wouldn't necessarily worry about it as well, trying to be super shredded. You need to build muscle mass, and then you can get the body fat off.
Yeah, and don't get caught up on the fact that more is more, because you want to utilise as much as you can from as little as what you're doing. So if you're training, let's say 6 days a week, and you're not eating enough, then you're never going to actually utilise the prime stage that you're in, because if you're young and you're trying to build muscle mass, your testosterone levels are going to be high anyway, so utilise as much as you can from as little as what you do. And then once you start to plateau and you're not starting to see as much results, then at that point then start throwing in other things into the plan. But
more sets, more volume.
Yeah.
Get the most from the least.
Yeah, and just start off with the basics, man. Start off with basic lifts, putting yourself in a linear overload.
So progressively overload, get stronger as you go all the time.
And just play it by ear, but the minute you start plateauing, then you can start throwing in other things into the mix.
On the talks about throwing things into the mix, one thing also that I see all the time that pisses me off is people want to change their training program every week.
Yeah.
The same as your diet, you have to have consistency. If you change what you're doing all the time, every week, how do you know what works for you? So I know Mike's already touched on the basis of the basics work. So in terms of you want to build sheer muscle mass, you're going to be very young. Squat, bench press, deadlift, all the big compound movements, get very good first technique on those, and then focus on progressively improving those, and track your lifts as you go, and I can guarantee you will build a lot of muscle mass as long as you underpin it with good quality calories and decent amounts of food, and don't be afraid to eat.
In regards to training, like, just pick a program, doesn't really matter, I don't give a fuck what it is, pick a program, stick to it, but whatever you're going to do, just monitor it. Like the minute you let your ego get involved, it can be hard, especially if you're training with someone else or more than one person, to let your ego...
You get the alpha male syndrome.
Yeah, but your best bet is to focus on, let's lock in good execution of movement, mind muscle connection.
Engage the muscle.
And then from that point, then consider overloading with heavier weight, but only to what you can handle, and then track absolutely everything.
Other things to not get too concerned about in terms of being teen bodybuilder. Well, not stupid. Every question is a good question, but is what protein powder should I use? Like, don't focus on the minutiae, the little details. Focus on the overall picture of what you're doing, because being consistent overall with what you're doing, rather than worrying about how many grams of protein are in this brand of protein powder, isn't really going to make any difference at all whatsoever. Whereas how hard you train, how consistent you are with your diet and eating is what will make a big difference, ultimately, at the end of the day. In terms of supplements, in terms of what I'd recommend people use, you only really need the basics. Whey protein, don't use a weight gainer, it is a load of shit. It's a recipe to pretty much gain body fat. They tend to be just full of sugars and crap. Just eat food. Whole food is king.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Nutrition is going to be your key to building muscle mass. And don't fucking neglect legs. Major
half your physique.
Major mistake I made when I first started out training was neglecting legs, and I just had to play catch up.
Still is.
Motherfucker. So yeah, just train legs. Don't worry about how much it fucking hurts. Just get it done, because it needs to be done. And trust me, you will only regret it later on.
It'll make you a stronger person, mentally and physically.
Definitely.
So, also, if you're like me, I'm naturally a greedy person. I like to eat. I think if the bigger my legs get, the more food I can get away with eating, because of the biggest muscle groups in your body. So you're adding more overall mass to you and strength and power. And also training particular big compound lifts, which we've already touched on in terms of squat, deadlifts, is actually a proven way to increase your testosterone levels. So again, that's something else to bear in mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, if you're into sports, that will correlate a lot over in terms of the strength improvements you have with squats, deadlifts, bench press, into whatever sporting activities you're doing in your way, because it's very functional movement.
Yeah,
so,
massively.
Additionally to that, has pretty much ranted on, and pretty much covering a lot of subjects. This was supposed to be 3 points, which probably end up into about 30 different ones. Well, we've just got around to start going. But any other thoughts?
Stick to the basics. Monitor your nutrition.
Be consistent.
Monitor your nutrition. Monitor your training.
Don't be a pussy and train hard.
Yeah, and just have trust in the process and leave the ego at the door.
And don't train arms every day.
Yeah. Well, you can train arms every day.
No,
you can't. Train legs every day.
Yeah, train legs every day. Every other day.
Every other day.
Any other thoughts on the video? Anything else you want to know question-wise, please comment below. Check out Mike, Built by Fitness Instagram. Charlie Johnson. Peace out.
Bye.